Buenas noches, buenos días, buenas tardes, la hora que escuchen este podcast. Somos sus amigos El Huicho,
Alex
y Carla.
Sí, así es, raza, ya la contratamos de tiempo completo. Pues ya nos hacía falta alguien que tuviera algo de cerebro, no nomás nosotros. Que si no el programa se pudre. Aquí estamos otra vez con su podcast de la hora spooky. Traídos un poco tarde, tenemos rato sin subir algo porque pues es que el Alex, ya sabes cómo es.
Sí, güey, no, me pasé de verga.
Sí, y luego Carla también, que no. No. Pero no, ya estamos de regreso. ¿Cómo están, amigos? Cuéntenme, ¿cómo están?
Chido, jalando, trabajando mucho.
Muy bien.
Puro trabajo con ustedes. ¿Y tú, Wicho? No, está toda madre, yo también, chingos de trabajo. Esta semana fue el fin de semana, el Día de las Madres, ustedes saben, muy ocupado. Pero sí. It was pretty good. Tuvimos bastante trabajo. Pero pues no tanto como esperaba, ¿sabes? Empezamos a trabajar como bueno, yo empecé el jueves, pero no eran trabajos para el Día de la Madre, simplemente por la nada había mucho trabajo de mariachi ese día. Y el fin de semana sí, lo que fue viernes en la noche, sábado desde como las 2 hasta las 11. Y igual el domingo también empezamos como a las 2 y terminamos como a las 11. Ayer hubo un poquito de trabajo, como unas 3 horas nomás, pero pues en martes. Ay, güey, pensando que es martes, ahora no. A ver, qué bueno que no. Ay, güey, pero no, bueno, ya estamos de regreso. Y hoy les traemos un programa
muy especial.
¿Qué traemos hoy, Alex?
Hoy tenemos, a la voy a decir en inglés. Today we have brought to you by La Hora Spooky. We sponsored ourselves porque nadie nos contrata. Anyways, today's topic is on movies inspired by true real life events.
Ay, güey, pues la de... Yo tengo una bien chida, güey.
A ver.
I got You ever heard of the movie My Little Pony?
You know, Cynthia was telling me about that.
What do you mean?
She had told me, because I had told her about the topic.
Uh-huh.
And she goes like, you should do My Little Pony. There's some weird shit to that.
Is it really?
And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, like have you heard about, like, did you ever look up cartoon theories, like, as a kid?
I mean, not as a kid, but, like, I mean, on TikTok, you'll see, like, your average, like, conspiracy theory on, like, certain endings and stuff on, like, some shows.
Like, I didn't look into it because I thought she was just kidding around. But...
No, I mean, there's something.
But I'm pretty sure there's something on,
like, I mean, now that we're on a scary topic, I mean, the whole, like, Nickelodeon thing, like, the owner is, like, super creepy, bro. Like, I don't know if he's, like, the owner of Nick or, like, he just directs, like, most of the shows.
Dan Schneider?
Yeah, him. Yeah, he's dirty. He's dirty. Ah, man, what's he gonna do? Yeah, man, he's dirty, bro. Like, the whole foot fetish thing.
Oh,
yeah. There's some scary talks. I'm like, there's a bunch of iCarly episodes, a bunch of Sam and Cat, a bunch of Drake and Josh, Victorious. Like, where all the characters have, like, their feet out, like, almost all the time. And there's some videos, like, where he's recording, and he's, like, on them, like, trying to hug them and squeeze them and stuff. Like, bro, get off. Like, you know, like, I know, like, the show is aimed for teens, you know, and, like, some of the episodes have, like, these characters involved, like, in a relationship type of stuff, you know, like, they're making out, you know, they're attracted to each other, but it's like, bro, this is for teens. Mm-hmm. You're a grown-ass man, bro. Step off, bro. Like, these girls are teens. These boys are teens. Like, why you got them with their feet out? So that shit is creepy, bro.
I don't know if you guys seen some of those videos, but they have, like, the cast members, and Dan Schneider's trying to, like, interact with them, and you could visibly see that they're freaked out.
So uncomfortable. Yeah, I've seen some videos. One of the videos that I remember vividly is because they would make Ariana Grande wear, like, some very, like
skimpy.
Yeah, like, very skimpy outfits, bro. Like, she's like kind of short and stuff. Like, they would have her wear, like, these short dresses, and, like, a dress that would, like, try to show her cleavage and stuff. And it's like, bro, like, why is she dressed like that for a Nickelodeon show? You know, like, I get it. You know, the target audience, teens, sure, whatever. But, like, why are you all up on them, bro?
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, it's just creepy as hell. I don't know. That's why I don't really, like, look into that stuff, because that stuff really, really disturbs me.
Yeah.
I just cannot, bro. Like, when it's, like...
Yeah, because they're kids.
Yeah, it's just...
The Hollywood industry is basically run by pedophiles.
Yeah, I mean, bro, like...
Like big facts.
Yeah, big facts. I have no doubt about that. Like, bro, I just saw the first Purge movie like a week ago.
The first,
first one. I skipped it completely. Which Purge movie is the one where they had that girl wearing like the Statue of Liberty mask?
Second one.
Yeah, I saw that one first. It's because I went to see that one with Christian. Well, we went.
No, I didn't go.
You didn't go?
No.
Oh, well, I went with Christian. You were probably there, bro. I'm pretty sure you were there. I went to see it with Christian on opening. It's called Election Day, right?
Oh no, I didn't go with you because that's one of the last ones that came out.
Yeah, no. Well, then it was like the third one.
Yeah, that's the third one.
You had to go. I'm pretty sure you were with us.
I probably did.
Well, the thing is, I finally saw the first Purge movie. I haven't even seen the second one. If there's a second one that had a title I just don't know about. But there's this. So there's a family, right? And this guy that has a family, and he has a daughter who apparently in the movie is 15 years old. But like she's wearing like this schoolgirl outfit that's like very skimpy. And there's a scene where she has a boyfriend that's overage that sneaks in to see her, and they're like about to do it, you know, like he's like trying to get her naked and stuff. And I was like, okay, bro, hold the phone. Why is this important to the movie? Like, I just started thinking, like, bro, why is this important to the movie? Like, this scene doesn't belong in this movie. Like, you established that this girl is 15 years old. This guy is 18 years old. Like, I get it, you know, crime's legal, but these guys are dating pre-purge, not during, you know? So, like, it's just like, yeah, like in almost every movie you see, bro, like, I rewatched the Ouija movie we saw at the theater that sucked.
Origin of Evil?
Origin of Evil, yeah, with the little girl. The daughter in that movie, también, she's supposed to be like in high school or something. And they have her like sneaking out and like dressed all skimpy too. I was like, oh, come on, bro. Like, well, I mean, it's a scary movie, right? I think there should be other focuses to thrillers and scary movies, but
that is true.
Whatever.
Like Jennifer's Body too.
Yeah, exactly. Jennifer's Body. Oh, my mom's calling me. You guys keep going. I'll be right back.
All right. So how have you been, Carla?
I've been good. Working. That's about it.
What topics do you have for today?
For today, I have the Nightmare on Elm Street and the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
That's not the actual Exorcist movie, is it? No, right?
No. It's another one that's based off of this girl from Germany, I think. It's a pretty cool movie. I like it.
I haven't seen it. I never watched any of the Exorcist movies.
Really?
I have not watched the first one.
Why?
It's fucking scary. Hell no. I saw a scary movie where they made fun of it.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't watch the actual movie too.
Didn't they say like after they filmed the Exorcist movie, like some of the actors were like
a lot of shit happened on set.
Yeah, that too.
That's true for almost every Exorcist movie that's been out.
And Poltergeist.
Especially the Poltergeist cast. They're the guys that suffered the most. Apparently, I didn't hear anything from like the remake.
No, from the remake, they had stuff, but it's nothing compared to what happened like in the original.
Yeah, the original cast had a lot of shit happen to them. Yeah. And
in the first one, Steven Spielberg directed it, right?
Yeah.
Did you know? Like, I've never seen it, but I know there's a scene with when they're like the moms underwater and like starting off the skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, supposedly he couldn't get like skeletons made, so he used actual cadavers.
I heard about that, but I think that's cap.
Yeah.
Maybe back then it was a different time. You know, you never know. But like, I honestly don't see how you get human skeletons for a movie.
I mean, then you're talking about the same guy who did like Indiana Jones. He did do Indiana Jones. Right?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
and Star Wars.
No, that
was Lucas.
Yeah, that was Lucas.
George Lucas.
Yeah, that was George Lucas.
Either way,
I know why you made the correlation because of Han Solo. No, that's no.
They thought about Han Solo.
no. Oh man, but it's just all these movies, bro. Like even movies that are not scary, like just always have some scary shit happening. You know, it's like even like if it's not in the movie, it's in the background. You know, like. The whole what we talked about the other day, like on the Wizard of Oz. Apparently, like there's a scene where there's like somebody hanging
on the back.
Oh man, when I first saw that, I thought that was real, you know.
I did too.
And then, I mean, I was told it was just a montage or somebody just like photoshopped that there later. But hey, who knows, man? You just never know nowadays. Yeah. Man, I was telling you something before I got the phone call. I was gonna open up a door of like.
Fuck.
I was trying to explain something, but
I'm gonna rewind it now.
what movie we're talking about? Oh, the Exorcist movies, right?
No. We were talking about Dan Schneider. Oh, The Purge.
Yeah.
Oh, The Purge.
And things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, actually, I wanted to close the topic on that already because that's very disturbing. Like that, like that's very disturbing. I don't want to talk about that anymore. But
the Ouija.
Oh, the Ouija board. Yeah, that's right. So on that movie, so I had completely forgotten like that. Like the Ouija board is so accessible to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I know it's not today's topic, but I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was very interesting. So apparently the Ouija board is like the board itself. It's just like for show, you know. They have glow in the dark ones.
Oh, yeah.
They have bloody stained ones, you know.
You can buy it at Target.
Yeah, in reality though, like it's not the board; it's what you intend to do with it. And also, like,
because you can make a board.
Yeah, you can make a board out of like pieces of paper. If you have like something sharp enough, like you can write the letters, the numbers on the floor, and just like it's nothing but faith, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And where you decide to use this support, like most people don't know, but it's like there's there's like self-consciousness, like when you're using the Ouija board, like you want something to happen so bad, but you're so scared that your subconscious does it for you. You know, you have all these people swearing like, "Oh, I'm not moving it." Yeah, you are. It's you. You know. That's why the Ouija board is sold. You know, that's why Hasbro sells it.
True.
Like, bro, it's just a board. You know, like we know it's you guys moving it. You know, but it's like when you start putting candles, faith, and other stuff, like you're just tempting spirits. Like, bro, like make it happen. Like it's more of a, how do I call it? It's more like a beacon. You know, it's a beacon, and the light is only as bright as you want it to be. You know, if you're just messing around, like, oh, does Josh from freshman year like me or no? I mean, obviously you're gonna go for yes. You want Josh to like you. You know, but if you're asking like specific questions like, hey, is there a spirit here? Yeah. You're going to move it towards yes, you know, because you want there to be a spirit, but at the same time you don't. So self-consciously, one of the people that's grabbing like the, what is it, the little triangle with the glass eye?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. There's an actual name for it.
Yeah, there's a name for it, but I don't remember what it's called. You just move it towards it says yes, and it's like, oh shit, it moved by itself. Like, you moved it. You know, and like the thing, yeah, I saw you. You know, and that's like one of the things that those Ouija board movies explain. Like, it's like, okay, bro, like, yeah, you can buy this at like your local store, but it's like it's the intention you use it for, if it works or not. You know,
true.
Because all those movies are like they're all made up, right? But like the story behind the Ouija board is pretty much that. You know, it's like it's an object that can either enhance like the energies going on around you, or just it's just a toy.
Makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right. Oh,
but I'll never play with
something. No.
Nah, me neither. I mean, as much as I believe in stuff, like you could be a skeptic all you want, right? But you won't get a skeptic to like come play with the Ouija board just because.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a skeptic will be like, "Nah, bro, I don't believe in that shit." Like, all right, let's play. They're gonna hesitate. You know, because it's like, okay, in the odd chance that I'm wrong, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
You know, I'm screwed all over. And honestly, I believe in this stuff, and it's like I wouldn't mess with it personally, because I mean, I would honestly be overcome by fear, bro, if like something happened. You know, like I've seen a lot of stuff, but it's like it's not like I'm like, oh, you know, oh, ghost, oh, what's up? Nah, hell no, I get scared too. It's just like, oh, damn, there it is. Like last week at work, I was working at this home we're remodeling in somewhere by Frisco Lakes, and this is an old house, bro. You can tell because the brick doesn't even have holes in it. It's that square brick that looks like a chocolate bar, and it's like already like the brick around the house. It looks so nice because it has this vintage look on it. It's like crumbling already. So all we went to do was to go touch up their fireplace because they have a stone fireplace inside. And some of the mortar that's holding the stones together is already cracking. So me and my dad, we went to patch it up, right? We went to take some fresh mortar and just patch up all the cracks so it doesn't look ugly. So the house is like all covered in like paper and like plastic, so you don't get like new paint on like the stairs and on the floor.
Yeah.
So me and my dad are working on the fireplace, which is in the living room, in the center of the house, and there's some painters working on the paint job for the stairs. So we're all just chilling there, right? It's time for lunch. They have their lunch there. They have a microwave, so we just use their microwave to heat up our food. And then we're just sitting there in the living room talking to each other, like, oh, how long you been working at this house, blah blah blah. And out of nowhere, bro, a ball like falls from the top of the stairs to the bottom.
Like,
it's like this football, like somebody grabbed the ball and it just rolled down the stairs, and we're just like looking at it, like whoa, what do you mean, right? And they look so surprised, but then they start laughing because they have a third person working at that house. It's like, hombre, es aquel cabrón, right? It's like, we're fine. He's just trying to scare us. Mm-hmm. And then this guy comes out from a room across from the living room. He's like, ¿a poco ya es hora de lonche y no me dijeron? And we're all like, this house is like in a finished neighborhood, like there's no construction going on. We're just there patching it up. So the only cars are my dad's truck and our trailer, and these guys' van. And he claims that there's only 3 of them there. He's like, no, like we told him, like, hey, vato, mira, esa pelota se acaba de caer de las escaleras. And he's just like, nah, no shot, right? And we're like, no, de ver, like, nah, ustedes me quieren espantar. And then, like, es que he was like, no, güey, es que sí se oye como que alguien anda ahí arriba, pero pensé que eran ustedes. And we're just like, bro. Like, I didn't hear any steps or anything. Yeah. But this painter guy, he was working in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And on top of the bathroom, it's like the little hallway to go into the rooms. So he swears he heard, like, steps up there. And it couldn't have been us because we were sitting down for lunch. That happened last Thursday.
That's crazy.
Yeah, very crazy.
Speaking of work shit. So I had something. Nah, it wasn't the same. But for those of you who don't know, I work in the HVAC trade. So I just recently just switched over from service to installations.
All right, I'll do it. Alex, what's the trade? What is it about?
I work on ACs. So basically it just means heating, ventilation, and air conditioning and refrigeration because they added that a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, I just recently got into a new company here in like the Metro.
No le pegues a la mesa, güey.
In the Metroplex area. So I went from service to installation, and we do the same thing as Huicho does: new construction, houses that are being remodeled. So, and the week that we were supposed to record the episode, but we couldn't because we got busy. Me and the lead installer and then a service technician that was working with us too, we went to just go move some condensers on this house. So it's just 3 of us, 4 if you include the building manager that was there, but he left like as soon as we got there. Mm-hmm. So we moved the condensing units from the spot that we're in to the place to the place that he wanted to, which was maybe like 6 feet down from where they're originally at. So haz de cuenta, the house has a feeling like if you're like in Mexico, where tienen un patio donde está abierto, like el patio está abierto, pero like how the house kind of goes around and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they had that, and everything inside was gone because they're remodeling, So yeah, we moved the condensers. We're finishing up. We're grabbing all the tools. They tell me, the technician tells me, hey, I need to wire one more thing up in the attic, one of the air handlers. We're gonna stay out here and pull the vacuum so we can get this shit ready, and then just go over there, go to the attic, wire that up, and just do a walkthrough just to make sure we didn't leave any tools or like just leave anything there. And I'm like, all right, cool. So yeah, I went by the attic, I wired up what I needed to wire up, and then I start coming down. I put the door up, all that shit. And as soon as I'm walking to the door, like, no sé por qué, but I had like I just turned around like that to look at the patio. And there's like a black shadow, like a tall black shadow, just like standing like across on the other side. And I'm like, I got scared. I was like, oh shit, really hope I didn't see that.
Mm.
I like really hope I didn't see that, because like stuff like that doesn't really happen to me. So me culié, güey.
Yeah.
And so I turned back, and I was about to walk to the door, but I was like, and I kind of just like hesitated and like just kind of like did a quick glance around the wall. Ya no estaba, and I'm like, fuck. Like in my head, I was like, I know I saw it, but I really hope I didn't see what I saw.
That's the feeling.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. So ya me fui pa fuera, and I go and I go over there to where the other two guys are. I didn't tell them anything, right? Because they're old, so they were like, nah, just fucking around and shit.
Mm.
But I was like, nah, like I was freaked out on the way home. I was like, nah, fuck. Like I really hope I didn't see it. Cause that shit was scary. It was like one of like the first, like I guess you could say like a shadow figure that I've seen. That was like a tall shadow figure.
That's crazy.
Like,
Damn.
And I knew it wasn't anybody else because the building manager was gone, and it was just three of us, and the other two guys that was with me, they estaban afuera. And I was like, pues no, güey. I was like, nah. I really hope not.
Could I quickly add in a story that I have from work?
Of course.
Not the current work that I have on.
Damn it.
Thank God.
Oh, is it the guy with the dogs? At that one house where you used to watch your dogs?
So I used to walk dogs and pet sit and things like that. And some of these houses were nice. And this particular house, really super nice neighborhood, but it was gated, and it was just such a weird feeling because every time you would go through the gate, there was always like crows just there, squawking, and just like the eeriest feeling and also look. It was always gray, like, and I'm not even kidding you, it was always gray. And so in that house, there had been times where like I usually don't touch like the drawers or the silverwares. I only do the refrigerator if they like prepared any food for the dogs that I would give to them. And when I walked in, you know, I had to check everything just to make sure everything's okay first. And I get the dogs food and I go into the laundry room to feed them. I come back and one of the drawers is wide open. And I was like, maybe I bumped it. So I just pushed it back in. Whatever, right? And the next time that I go over, I go all the way into the back room because the dog would like to, you know, lay or sleep in the back bathroom. And so as I was walking out of that back bathroom, one of the things, like a really, really heavy door stopper, I don't know what happened to it. It fell over and the door was just closing as I was leaving that room. And I was like, maybe I bumped into the door. But when I went to go pick back up the door stopper, that thing was heavy. And I was like, I did not bump into that. It just fell over by itself. And so, but these houses were so nice. They were so nice. And one day I was like, hey, Salma, do you want to go see this house? It's really pretty. But it's just a little scary. She's like, oh, okay. As long as it's not that scary. And so we go. And instantly, as we cross into the gate, she has the worst feeling. And I was like, and she even tells me that she doesn't feel too good about the place. And I was like, oh, no, it's fine. It's okay. And it was night. It was like, I say 8 p.m., 9, already dark, just like how it is right now. And I park in front of the house, not in the driveway, but where, like, we're directly in front. And then we're just frozen. I don't have my headlights on. And it's just frozen. We weren't talking, and I was just like, I don't know why. I just had the bright idea of turning on the headlights. I did, and we just see this old man in the front window. Salma gets this blood rush. She turns literally cold, and she starts like grabbing at her arms and just saying "ow" the whole entire time, and then she starts crying. But I didn't know what she was saying ow about. because I was just like frozen on my steering wheel, and I was just like, my arms, and I was just saying my arms, and that's whenever she was like, my arms too. They hurt. Like if someone were to be like sticking them with needles. And so I backed out, and we left. We left.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And I always hated going to that house. And then I found out that I think that owner who lived there, their like father had passed away. I think that's probably what it was. But they also were priests. They were priests, yes. And they were very religious, so I'm pretty sure that's maybe something related to that. But it was just the weirdest, eeriest feeling. It was horrible. I regret doing that.
Man. Well, I mean, as much as these guys could have been priests and stuff, people don't stop being human. Maybe they know, right? And they just don't want to. I don't want to say exercise him, but it's like they don't want to show him the light, because it's like maybe they just miss him so much they want to keep him around, And it's like maybe he wasn't particularly fond of two girls just being at his house, like, oh, who are you guys? Get out of here. Or I'm going to do that stuff to your arms again. Oh, man.
Yeah, we learned our lesson.
Ah, oh, so great. Oh, man, we blabbled on too much. We haven't even started the topic.
I know.
All right. So, hey, Carla, what do you say you start us off on today's topic, which is scary movies based on true events, and you can either, like, tell us, like, the comparison between the two movies, or you can just be like, oh, you know what, this movie, so-and-so, well, if you guys have seen it, okay, well, this is the real story.
Okay.
All right, let's have it.
So, the first one I have is Nightmare on Elm Street. Classic movie. Johnny Depp. Love him. So, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. No. Was he on the first two or just the second one?
Oh, he was in it. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he gets sucked into a bed.
I think it was the
second one, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been a while.
Okay, continue.
So,
sorry to interrupt.
It's considered a classic American movie, one that gets featured during many people's horror movie marathons. It follows Freddy Krueger, the striped sweater-wearing homicidal ghost who haunts your nightmares. While most of the Elm Street story is fictionalized, the inspiration for the idea of Freddy Krueger comes from a real story with real people. The director, Wes Craven, said his idea for Nightmare on Elm Street came from reading a story in the LA Times. He spoke of the article about a family who had left Cambodia in the 70s to escape the genocide of the killing fields. They became refugees who ventured to the United States looking for a better life but found tragedy instead. He had read an article. Okay. So this family managed to get to the U.S. Things were okay, and then suddenly their youngest son was having very disturbing nightmares. He had told his parents he was afraid that if he slept, the thing chasing him in his dreams would get him. So he tried to stay awake for days at a time. When he finally fell asleep, his parents, thought it was all over. Everything was okay. Then they would hear screams in the middle of the night. By the time they had got to him, he was dead. He died in the middle of his nightmare, and he was a young. Okay, yeah, whatever. But yeah, that him dying in the middle of his nightmare, having dreams of someone chasing him was basically, the whole story of Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, the funny thing is that there were many other stories of people dying in their sleeps in the U.S. in the late 1970s. It was then termed as a medical condition called the Asian Death Syndrome, as most of the people affected were of the Southeast Asian descent residing in the U.S. They would suddenly scream in their sleep and then would die. There's not much knowledge about this strange phenomenon, and according to the screenwriter and director, Wes Craven also drew on some personal experience for a Nightmare on Elm Street plot. As a kid, the filmmaker was once inside his home when a creepy old man walked along the path beside his window. The man stopped and glanced at him, scaring him, and then went off. The director kept the incident in mind while developing the film's villain, wondering what psychological factors would compel the old man to stop and strike fear into a kid. The name Freddy Krueger was also directly influenced by Wes Craven's childhood bully Fred Krueger.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Fred Krueger. I thought that was really interesting. Not too scary, but pretty interesting.
Yeah, I had already heard. Well, I heard. Well, not Wes Craven's inspiration, right? But I've heard of like some of the things that it could be based on. So apparently, it's like back in the day, like these soldiers would come in, like from Asia, right? The Middle East, there's Asia. They would come in, and apparently, it was like a mixture of homesickness and like just being extremely tired. So they would go to sleep, but their heart wouldn't be beating at a normal rate. You know, they missed home, they were scared, no foreign country, and they would just like have like strokes or just epilepsy of type of effects on them, and they would just die in their sleep. Like they would just like scream in pain, like when they were like eyes closed and everything, and just lights out.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Wes Craven's he's the master.
Yeah,
he's the master.
Awesome.
Rest in peace.
Murió.
Yeah, for a long time ago, dude.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why the new Scream movie sucks, because he wasn't directing it.
Did he direct the other?
Yeah, he directed
other ones.
The other ones. I think he didn't really direct the fourth one. I think he just like kind of skimmed over the plot and like the idea, and he's like, okay, sure,
whatever.
Yeah, like what Masashi Kishimoto is doing with Boruto. You know, he's not writing it, but he's the creator of Naruto, right? So he's just like skims through the Boruto stuff, and he's like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? Just leave it there. You know, he just skims over it. You know, I love Wes Craven. Wes Craven is.
What other movies did he make? He made this. I know he made the Scream.
He's made so many, bro. It's just.
On that fact, I did like the reboot of the Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was good. I liked it. Still waiting for the sequel that's never going to come out.
It's never going to come out. The reason that's never going to come out is because it's like, I mean, people have just seen the movie so much that it's like, why?
¿En serio?
Yeah. Well, now we're on Wes Craven still. I have brought to you the story of the behind the movie The Hills Have Eyes, another Wes Craven classic.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, if anybody's seen the Hills Have Eyes, it's basically run down as this family that lives isolated in like this nuclear nuclear crater. My bad. Where there have been nuclear like tests on bombs and stuff. There's a family, well, not families, like a whole like village that's like that was affected by like the nuclear reaction. They started mutating. A bunch of inbreds going on, you know, like creepy story.
Sounds like Alabama.
It sounds like Alabama, but you know, worse. So basically, like it's these cannibals, you know, that lead people going through the desert into like their booby traps, where they can like, you know, pretty much like, you know, not hunt them because it's a desert. You know, you really can't hunt in a desert.
That's true.
But like they stay stranded there. There's this gas station. Well, this part of the movie. This isn't part of the real story. Where, like, there's this guy that has, like, a pact with them, you know? He's like, okay, I'll send these guys your way, but you give me their loot, you know? I mean, you have no use for, like, their jewelry, their money, so you give me their belongings, and I give you the people. So it's always when somebody stops there for a pit stop, like, oh, take this road. You know, it's a shortcut. You know, and then families go through there. They have, like, spikes on the floor. Their cars, like, the tires are all fucked up. They're forced to get off the vehicle, and that's where they take them. So, I mean, I'm not going to talk more about the movie because I'm not a big fan of spoilers. So, that's just basically the rundown of the movie, right? So, the story of Hills Have Eyes dates back to long before concerns over nuclear testing, although the fear and fascination with social outsiders was just very strong. And then it's just all of this stuff, like Wes Craven got all of this from like myths and legends, folk tales of Sonny Bean, which is like one of the most notorious cannibals ever to exist. So this guy was a diabolical head of a cannibalistic family who supposedly terrorized and doomed the travelers in the 16th century in Scotland. Accounts of Bean's life, they vary. First, accounts emerging decades after his supposed death by execution. some historians have expressed doubt that he never existed in the first place. You know, a lot of people think like, oh, people just were murdering other people and just blaming him for it and like getting away with it. You know, they believe like it could have been true. You know, that maybe this guy did kill a person or two and ate them and just became like some type of urban legend.
Yeah.
And that the story was exaggerated over the years. But the story of the Bean's bloodthirsty lawlessness continued to inspire storytellers over centuries and centuries. You know, people telling the ultimate terror horror of how just a civilized person just snapped. You know, one day he was like, oh, fuck, you know, I just kind of want to kill somebody and eat them. Mm-hmm. That's basically the rundown. So the story goes, oh no. Okay, so Bean was born in East Lothian and raised by a father who worked as a ditch digger and hedge trimmer. A younger Billy initially attempted to follow his father into honest family trades. He would have been expected to take up this job, but however, there's a movie called Jupiter, which is supposed to be like the original movie. Mm-hmm. He suddenly starts to develop, you know, dark and disturbing thoughts. You know, Bean took up with Black Agnes Douglas, a woman who shared his bloody nature and taste for human flesh. They made a home together in a cave by the Galloway coast, away from the orderly world of work and toil. They just left all that behind. They're like, you know what? We're done. You know, we're just gonna live in this cave. And they made a family. You know, they have a bunch of children and grandchildren who were raised in these caves. But apparently, all these people, you know, they were inbreeding. You know, like same family inbreeding. That's why they would come out with like, you know, some type of animality. You know, it's like So basically, the thing is that these people were believed to be cannibals, right? And then, like, their family just time passed and they just disappeared out of nowhere. You know, all people have is folktales and stories about this person who was a cannibal, right? And his family of cannibals. You know, there's no proof, like, you know, like I mentioned earlier, like nobody has proof. Everybody thinks this story is exaggerated. Mm-hmm. This is just what we know, and this is where Wes Craven got his original story for The Hills Have Eyes, and and now we know that. You know, there's a couple of other movies. You know, the movies are actually, they're okay. Yeah, they're okay. They're okay. But yeah, that's the true story behind The Hills Have Eyes. I did not know that.
It reminds me of this video that I was watching. That there's this family of inbreds. I don't know, probably Alabama, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Just throwing it out there. And one of their sons, like, cannot speak. Like, he just doesn't have that capacity to speak. But he does try to communicate like a dog. So he barks.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's a whole documentary about that family.
Oh, shit. I have to look that up later.
All right.
Oh, by the expression in your hands, I see you got something juicy. It's gonna be a good one.
So I have have y'all seen the movie When a Stranger Calls?
I hate that movie.
Yeah. Oh. So that's actually based on the actual story that it's based off of. It's kind of sad.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard it before.
The movies? You never heard of it?
I've never seen the movie or heard the story.
Is that the one with the freaky ringtone?
I think so. Because I know there's one similar to it. It's called I think it's called One Missed Call.
Oh, it's probably that one.
But anyways, so When a Stranger Calls is basically about a babysitter. Girl goes babysits the house. She gets a phone call, like random phone call. The caller says check the children, and just hangs up. So she lets go of it, you know. She's like, whatever. And then she keeps getting the same phone call, like, check the children. And at that point she's like, you know, starting to get freaked out and all that shit. So she goes. I think I don't remember the movie because I've seen it. It's been a while since I've seen it. But she goes and checks on the children, and then it's sees that they're okay, and they're like, it's probably just a fucking prank caller. But she keeps getting the same phone call from the same person. So she gets tired of it, and she calls the cops. She's like, hey, this phone number keeps calling me, and I'm like getting tired of it. It's annoying. So she gives them the phone. She gives the police the phone number, so they're able to like trace the call, and they're like, and all that shit. and it's they call back, and they're like, "Hey, that phone number is coming from inside the house."
Oh my god.
And then she starts getting freaked out. So she gets freaked out, and it's like, that's when like the climax of the whole story starts, and I guess the killer comes out of hiding and like shows her like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the house." But it's weird because like from what the movie shows, it doesn't seem like a pretty big house where a person could hide, but who knows? But yeah, so it turns out at the end of the movie, like they don't find the guy who's inside of the house, and I believe that when she went to go look to see if the kids are okay, they're already dead because the caller had killed them. But like she's fine and all that shit, and I think the movie just ends. But the actual the story that is based off of, it's a pretty short story because it was in the case was in the 1950s.
Mm.
So the movie is based off an unsolved murder of a 13-year-old named Janet Crispman. So basically, the 13-year-old was babysitting a 3-year-old, and she calls. She gets like a similar call, like check the children. So same thing happens. Like she hung up, but she keeps getting the same call. So then after a while, she calls the cops, and she says like, "Come quick, like come on." And she hung up, and the police traced the call. When the owners of the house return to get home, they find that the little girl's body is like in a pool of her own blood. She had been raped and strangled by a telephone cord. So the police basically ruled out that it was an inside job because the killer knew like the house and like the layout of it like really, really well. Yeah. And that's all they had on it.
So they never found him?
They never found it. It's an unsolved murder.
And what happened to the babysitter? The
babysitter died.
Oh, she died?
Yeah, the babysitter is the one that died. The kid was found okay, but it was just the babysitter.
No, but not in the movie.
Oh, in the movie she was fine. In the movie, like she runs out, and like she looks at the door, like the suspenseful door, and it closes. And you have to go.
Oh. And what happens to the kids? Do they die in the movie?
I think so. I don't remember the movie too well.
I'm gonna look at everything wrong with. What's the movie called?
When a Stranger Calls.
I'm gonna look up everything wrong with When a Stranger Calls. That's how I watch movies now. It's when I really don't want to watch a movie, I just watch Everything Wrong With or How to Survive X movie, and like it literally reviews the whole movie, and it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like just today, since I was like so hyped for today's video, I heard all of the Grudge series from the first one to the remake, and I was like, damn, these movies suck. It's like I remember watching like the first Grudge movie. It was so disturbing.
Oh, it was.
Like they weren't scary. It was just disturbing. You got this thing, crossing its neck and stuff, going, and you're just like, okay, whatever.
I think I was like 4 when I watched it in the
Are you
theaters.
serious?
I was traumatized.
God, no. A movie that kind of traumatized me a little for a while was The Ring. Because, like, everybody has a TV in the room.
Yeah.
It's like...
And I had a VCR.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has a TV in the room. VCR. Like, if you're a kid, if you were born in the, like, 95s and forward, you most likely had a TV for your Super Nintendo, your Nintendo, your 64 in your room. And you were, like, about, I want to say, 8, 10, maybe 12 years old when that movie came out. So, you had a TV and you knew you were scared, if you saw that movie. Because you were just waiting for it to go. And then back then, to put Channel 3, to put your 64, that you got the static on the TV, Like, Channel 3 was literally nothing.
Damn. I'm back to memory. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry to bring that back up, bro.
Fuck, you did bring back a memory. Holy shit.
That's what the program's all about, brother. What y'all looking at? Stop looking back.
Your towels.
There's nothing there.
Your door's open.
It is open. Was it open?
Yeah, it was open.
Okay.
It was open when I think it was open when I got here.
I hope it was.
Open.
Yeah.
You just made me fucking remember something. I didn't I didn't even know I still had. I didn't even know I
I'm just
remember.
gonna make a small disclosure right now that we're recording. If you hear a bunch of thumping and a bunch of loud noises, that's Alex hitting the fucking table. He's been hitting it all night.
Every time we record.
Yeah, don't worry, that'll change when we get a mic. It's because the speakers on the laptop. So every time we make like a sound, it's gonna sound like a large thump.
Anyways,
Alright.
yeah, like I don't know why, but a memory just came back of me in my old house, like when my parents were still together. Of like, so the way my old house was, it was a 2-story house. When you the front door, haz de cuenta, this is the front door. You go in to your right. There's a staircase. You vas para arriba, all the way up. We had like me and my brother had like a little, I guess like a game room. So I had I had a couch right there. We had a TV. This was around the time when I got like the first Xbox. So I had that. I had Halo. She was lit. But yeah, so I think I just made me remember, like, since on that couch I would always sleep there a lot, and like especially at night, like playing games and shit like a normal kid. So I remember falling asleep. And like I would always just fall asleep there and wake up in the middle of the night and just go to my room. And I fell asleep and I was going to my room because era tarde. And the TV turns on. Like it turns on and it goes into that like the staticky shit. Because I had donde le tenías que poner the yellow, white, and red things. So, like, the TV turns on, and I go, like, turn around, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Ya, la voy y la apago.
Man, that's crazy how you remember that right now.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
shit.
It's crazy how many movies are, like, so simple, but based on, like, true events, you know, like that movie When a Stranger Calls. It's, like, such a simple concept. You know, a stalker killer is just calling you just because, you know, he's just, like, there's, like, the movie doesn't give you a reason. It's not like this girl dumped him or the family owes him money. It's not. I'm bored. What do I do tonight?
Yeah.
Let's go to X address to X house and let me just kill these people's children and, like, spook the babysitter or something. I don't know.
Oh, you should look up this I keep hitting the table. It's I don't know if it's based on it's supposed to be based on a true event. It's not a movie. It's just something that I researched like a long time ago. So there's like an urban legend. I forgot in what state, but it's called The Watcher. So it basically was like this couple bought a house, and like I think like a couple days after they like moved in, they started getting like random letters.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Like they just started getting like random letters, and they would always like have like the signature, like The Watcher. Like it would say whatever it said, and then The Watcher. And then like they always got that, but they can never figure out who The Watcher was. Like I think to this day they still haven't figured it out at all. And then like after a while, like since they kept getting the letters, they were like, you know what, we're just gonna move. And they moved, and that's it.
That's crazy. Like honestly, bro, like
Pretty sure somebody was just bored.
most of these scary movies, like honestly, like the scarier movies for me have been like movies where it's like human on human instead of like freak of nature versus humans or ghosts or demons against humans. Because it's like if you're a non-believer of like the supernatural, like you go watch The Conjuring and you're like, oh fuck yeah, that movie got a couple of jump scares on me, but I'm fine. You know, if you're religious, I mean, at night you start getting scared. What do? You pray, and then you build your self-conscious, like you build a safeguard around your self-conscious. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm fine because Jesus has my back, right? When it's human on human, it's you, brother. Like it's you against another human.
Yeah.
You know, like honestly, that's like what scares me the most. You know, like the movie The Hills Have Eyes, like a cannibals. Like, bro, like there's no prayer that's gonna get me out of that. You know,
Yeah.
I either outrun this person or I'm gone. You know, like most of the like the scarier, disturbing movies is like, have you all seen Hostel?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Hostel's fucking scary, bro, because it's like something that goes on in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm pretty sure Hostel has to be based on something, right? But like human trafficking exists. You know, like we all know it exists.
Oh yeah.
Like even in Mexico, bro, like women disappear every day. You know, like where I'm from in Rio Verde, like people are disappearing like crazy. You know, it's like it's not safe. Just recently, like in Monterrey, there was like this huge case about this girl that was dumped off by her friends.
Debbie?
Yeah.
Oh, Devani.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. It's like it's just Mexico's not safe, bro. Like las que miras de Franco, esta Yami y las dos Yamis y Ale.
Yeah.
They have a lot of stories where they're like, nah, bro, I can't even get on an Uber or I can't even get on a Lyft or something because I mean I always get scared because you never know, right? Like as a woman, like if you're going into like a Uber or like a taxi or whatever, you have to check everything. You have to check that your driver isn't sketchy. You have to check that the door doesn't have like a child lock. You have to be constantly on the lookout for him not like trying to peep under your like if you're wearing like a dress or something skimpy, you have to be on the lookout that he's not like perving on you and stuff, you know? Like a nosotros que, you know, like men we're like, oh yeah, a dude. Yeah, sure. Let me take him to where he wants to go, you know, it's like
it is terrifying. My mom has a saying because like we used to be really scared of like the paranormal movies when we were younger, but she was saying like they can't do anything to you. Like what you should be conscious and scared of, not scared, but like on the lookout are like actual people. Because I mean, now on the topic of that, I've been followed home. I've been followed to my work, and it's terrifying that I can't even live my normal life. Yeah. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only other times like where men would be like followed, and I'm not trying to turn this into like a men versus women thing. It's just an example. Is like somebody's trying to rob you. Mm-hmm. Like my dad, like on his birthday, dude. On his fucking birthday, he got mugged.
Oh shit!
He went to cash a check somewhere around here, and like I guess like there was some insider inside the bank just seeing who cashed the check and had cash on them, and they followed him. He took my stepmom to the doctor. They followed him and they took his money. They took his fucking money. On his birthday, dude. And like my dad was like, dude, that shit has never happened to me. And it's like, it's crazy how they followed me from a bank from the house all the way over here to the doctor, which was we live in, right here where we live. Mm-hmm. And they went like maybe 30 minutes out.
What the fuck?
No way.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I'm just like, dude, I mean, good thing you didn't come home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's like, good thing you didn't come home. Like, actually, fuck that. It's a good thing you're okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, that was, like, the most important part, that they didn't, like, try to hit you or anything. They just handed it over. Mm-hmm. But it's like, how fucked does it have to be for you to be robbed on your birthday?
I've had something happen like that before. So, when I used to work at Burger King, I used to work at the one off Crocker Hill and 20 in front of Olive Garden. So I had, there was once, like, you know, I've always been cool about stuff. Like, if it's $1, nomás te la doy. So this guy came in, he's like, hey, can I have a water cup? And I would just give people, like just the soda cup. And be like, here. But he wanted food, so I was like, oh, I have to charge you for that. So he bought, like, $1 of stuff. I should have, like, you know, I should have been like, no, pues, está comprando una cosa de $1. Like, I should have been like skeptical from the beginning, but like I'm not. I believe people are good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's one of my many flaws.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens to the best of us.
So yeah, so like he gave me cash. He gave me the money. I opened the cash register, and he just reaches in and grabs the money. I don't know why my instinct kicked in, and I just grabbed his hands and I was like, hey, what the fuck? And yeah, and he just like as I cuenta, like he kind of pushes me like that, and he just runs. I'm like,
did he take anything?
He just took whatever was in the cash register, and I was like, "Fuck! I just got robbed." Like I was like in fucking awe for like a while, and then like I think like maybe like 5 minutes passed, and I want to go tell my manager like, "Hey, they just robbed us." Yeah, and then like my mom got mad at me.
Why?
When I got home, because she's like, "Look, there's like one thing she said. She told me she's like, look." When you're at work and somebody's gonna rob you, just let them take whatever the fuck they want. Like, money's money. Like, you, si te pasa algo.
Yeah, dude, I was about to bring that up. Like, bro, you were brave for holding that man's hands. He could have pulled out the gat and gone.
Yeah, she's like, money's money. But like you, like, I'm not gonna have another son back.
Yeah.
If something were to happen to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, yeah. She's
Yeah,
like,
dude, people are evil. Like,
Mhm.
people are absolute evil. Like, there's this movie. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it. Maybe you've heard of it. I don't know if you've seen it. Se llama El Infierno.
yes.
Okay.
So she.
I know it's like the movie sounds like, oh fuck hell. No, it's basically a movie of like this dude named Benjamin that comes to the United States but then gets kicked out, you know, and he's forced to go back to Mexico, and he gets there and it's narco land, you know, like his hometown is run by narcos. You know, the city is like the town is completely like in total bad shape, you know, people dying every corner. So he joins the cartel and everything, and he's like starting to get his money up, and then like bad like things start to go south with him. You know, like him and one of his friends, El Cochiloco, they have to protect like their cartel's boss's son, and he ends up getting killed by like the rival gang. So in revenge, their cartel leader kills his kids. You know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like it wasn't even his fault, you know. They got jumped, and I mean, but in like the movie, he's like, nah, eye for an eye. You know, I lost a child, you lose a child. And then he has a phrase that I've never heard in a movie before, and I've never heard of, but I related it to it so much. And he says, he's because prior to that they were talking about like if they weren't afraid of going to hell, you know, and he was just like whatever, you know, like. But then he tells him right then and there, he's like, didn't I tell you? He's like, there is no hell. It's right here on earth. We're walking in it. Yeah. You know, this is hell right here. And like, he was saying that while holding his dead son. He's like, see, I told you. Like, we're living in hell. And it's like, fuck, dude. Like, I have never heard like such a more truer like phrase ever said in a movie. It's like, damn. It's so true. You know, it's like you hear like the stories of hell, eternal damnation, famine, starvation, all that shit, and you're just like, damn, that kind of sounds like it happens here. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, it's so crazy. Fortunately for me, nothing like that's ever happened to me. Like, and I've been like in spots where I could have been robbed. In Mexico, my dad used to have like some maquinitas that have like games and stuff on them, like a game corner. Like we used to run a game corner, and I was like there, and when I was in middle school, you know, people would give me 10 pesos, and I would give them 10 pesos back and like coins, so they could like play on the machines. We had this beer spot where people could go buy beer from us and stuff, and like I was never robbed. Maybe somebody took something and I never noticed, but like nobody was ever like, give me the money, you know. So, and like what I do, bro, is like when I get like anywhere, I always check. When I feel I'm being followed, I start turning and turning and turning and turning. I just never go home. Yeah. I've done that maybe twice where I'm like getting off a mariachi and I'm driving home and I see like, because people that follow you can sometimes make it a little too obvious. You know, you drive off and then out of nowhere they just drive off behind you. And it's like, all right, bro, let's see if you're following me or not. Make a turn here. Make a turn here. Make a turn here. Make a turn here. But just never stop. Just keep driving. Keep driving and hope you have enough gas. You know, and it's like at a certain point, like if you feel like your follower is like a little bit behind, do something hasty. Make a weird turn somewhere and just drive off fast. You know, if you get pulled over, you can tell a cop like, "Hey, I think I'm being followed. That's why I did what I did." You know, and like could get you out of a ticket. Maybe not. Maybe the cop won't buy your bullshit. But I mean, if you just really feel like you're being followed, there's no reason to like just drive straight home. You could always call 911 and be like, hey, you know, fortunately for us that we live here in the United States, we have like that ease, you know, that we can just like our phones almost always have service, you know, our cars have chargers, you know, it's like it's not that we have it good, but like we have a fighting chance. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy how this episode started off with like like the movies and stuff, but it's like we're touching on like the real horrors of this world, which is like actual people. There's nice people out there. Oh, yeah. But there are some evil people out there.
Serial killers.
Pedophiles.
Have you watched this show on Netflix called Mindhunter? You should watch it. It's pretty good. I started watching it. There's basically how the term serial killer came to play, and like a group of the FBI just interviewing like what serial killers are. Like
why you did it, you know, like what do you get from it?
Like they tape them and all that shit. But there was this guy. They were one of the first serial killers that they showed on the show, and I looked him up, and he's an actual real person. His name is Ed Kemper. He's like 6'5", like 300 pounds, tall as dude. So he basically like got in trouble his entire life. And the show, like he's at least, I don't know if he's like that in real life, but in the show they like made him look like a very composed individual. Like he uses all these big ass words, like he talks to you like a normal person and all that shit. And he would tell like the group, he'd be like, I don't know why I did it. Like something just came over me and I just did what I did. Like he basically said like I have to keep myself busy in order for me not to do those things. Because like in the end, he ended up like I think killing and decapitating and like basically like defiling like 10 girls in like the 70s and 80s. And he killed his mom when he was like 14, and then he killed his grandparents when like around the same age.
Crazy dude, crazy.
And I was like, God damn,
that's some hardcore shit, bro.
Yeah. And then it like goes. Then they're like the group is just basically trying to find out like what in their past or like what the fuck happens that leads them to doing all this shit.
Sometimes there's not even an answer, bro. It's just you're just like that. Yeah. Oh, man.
I was like, shit.
All right, bro. Well, we talk about something else that. No, not something else like that, but like another movie that we brought.
I have a pretty good one.
All right.
And I also have audio from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shit. So this is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. So the actual movie follows a lawyer who takes on a negligent homicide case involving a priest who allegedly performed a deadly exorcism on a young woman. It's set in American modern day, and the film was both praised and panned by critics for its depiction of the court case that followed the death of the character Emily Rose. Although much of the movie focuses on courtroom drama and debate, there are plenty of like scary flashbacks that depicts the events leading up to the exorcism and leading to her death at the age of 23. One of the most memorable scenes from the film is the flashback of Emily Rose screaming the name of all of her demons to her priest. While possessed, she shouts out the names such as Judas, Cain, and most chillingly Lucifer, the devil in the flesh. So, the real story. Anneliese was born in Germany in 1952 into a devoutly Catholic household. She was diagnosed with depression and epileptic psychosis at age 16 in 1968 and was unsuccessfully treated in psychiatric institutions. Anneliese grew up devoutly Christian in Bavaria, West Germany, where she attended Mass twice a week. And when she was 16, she just started to suddenly black out at school, and she had began walking around dazed. Although she did not remember the event, her friends and family said she was in a trance-like state. A year later, Anneliese experienced a similar occurrence, where she woke up in a trance and wet her bed. Her body also went through a series of convulsions, causing her body to shake uncontrollably. After the second time, Anneliese visited a neurologist who diagnosed her with temporal lobe epilepsy, a disorder that causes seizures, loss of memory, and experiencing visual and auditory hallucinations. The drugs she was given failed to help her, and as the years progressed, her condition began to deteriorate. Though she was still taking her medication, Anneliese began to believe that she was possessed by a demon and that she needed to find a solution outside of medicine. She began to see the face of the devil, where she went and said she heard demons whispering in her ears. When she heard demons telling her that she was damned and would rot in hell, while she was praying, she concluded that the devil must be possessing her. She sought out some priests to help her with her demonic possession, but all of the clergy she approached rejected her requests, saying that she would seek medical help and that they needed the permission of a bishop anyways. At this point, her delusions had become extreme. Believing she was possessed, she ripped off the clothes off her body, compulsively performed up to like 400 squats a day, crawled under a table, barked like a dog for 2 days, and she also ate spiders and coal, bit off the head of a dead bird, and licked her own urine from the floor. Finally, she and her mother found a priest, Ernst Alt, who believed in her possession. He stated that she didn't look like an epileptic in later court documentations. Over the next 10 months, following the bishop's approval of Annaliese's exorcism, Alt and Renz conducted 67 exorcisms, lasting up to 4 hours. Through these sessions, she revealed that she was believed she was possessed by the 6 demons: Lucifer, Cain, Judas, Hitler, Nero, and Fleischmann, which was a disgraced priest. The demons argued with each other, with Hitler saying, "People are stupid as pigs. They think it's all over after death," and it goes on. And Judas saying Hitler was nothing but a big mouth who had no real say in hell. Throughout these sessions, Annalise would frequently talk about dying to atone for the wayward youth of the day and the apostate priests of the modern church. She broke the bones and ripped the tendons in her knees from continually kneeling in prayer, and over these 10 months, she was frequently restrained so the priests could conduct exorcisms. She slowly stopped eating and eventually died of malnutrition and dehydration July 1st, 1967. She was only 23 years old. After her death, her story became a national sensation in Germany after her parents and the 2 priests who conducted the exorcism were charged with negligent homicide. They came before the court and even used the recording of the exorcism to try to justify their action. The 2 priests were found guilty of manslaughter, resulting in the negligence, and were sentenced to 6 months in jail and 3 years of probation. The parents were exempt from any punishment as they had suffered enough, a criteria for sentencing in German law.
Ooh, shit.
So, here is the alleged audio from the exorcism that they had recorded.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Crazy, huh?
Very, very. Did you say Hitler?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. See, I need to look into that. I didn't know Hitler was like one of the demons that could possess people.
Judas?
Really?
As in, like...
Yeah, the traitor.
Judas the traitor.
Like, one of the 12 disciples of Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the traitor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I mean, remember, the devil, it was once an angel.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And then, the name Cain killed his own brother.
Yes.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Cain and Abel.
Wow, that's
Yes.
crazy.
That's dope,
That's
dope.
crazy. Yeah. I mean, dope in, like, the way that we liked, like, Supernatural is, like,
Mm-hmm.
entertaining. Fuck, dude. I mean, exorcisms, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, there was a point in time where I was like, I mean, it's gonna sound like every other like paranormal enthusiast ever, but like, there was a time where I was like doubting, you know, like if the supernatural existed,
Mm-hmm.
and I always proposed to myself, like, okay, when I reach a certain age, like when I'm retired, like I'm gonna travel to Rome,
Mm.
and I'm going to join like the Vatican. I'll attempt to join the
Vatican.
Vatican and like try to become an exorcist. But like honestly, like moving on, you know, you're like, oh fuck, bro, what are you thinking? You know,
Mhm.
like.
Says
Yeah, it was a time where I wasn't like obsessed with the supernatural, but it's like it was happening to me so often that I was like, bro, maybe it's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it's a sign I have to do this, you know?
Start hunting.
Not hunting, you know, it's like like I just know so much,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like if I feel like a bad vibe, I know how to cleanse it, you know, like I've learned how to cleanse it. If there's like a spirit, you know, there's like a very easy way to like show it the light, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Have a white candle lit up with some water, because water is like one of the most powerful elements, because it gives life and it takes it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's an element that does both things.
Oh yeah.
And then like coconuts, like they have so much like pure energy power. Like it's crazy. Like you can roll a coconut through like an area that has a bad vibe. You start kicking it around. Never touch it with your hands. You start kicking it around.
Just like kick it around with your foot.
Yeah, you start kicking it around like it's a soccer ball. You start kicking it around. Then you break it outside of your house. Then you break it. And like, I mean, I'm not going to say like some black goo is going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But that water, like the water inside the coconut, is going to take the energy outside of the house. You can do it with the pigeon too. Una paloma blanca. You let it fly around your house. And then you set it free. And it takes all the negative energy with it. Like, you know how they say like chihuahuas, if you're asthmatic, it like it like takes it from you. It's kind of like that.
It's the same thing with cats, no? Because I've heard that cats can, like, if you have a bunch of cats like in your house, like they're able to like take all the like negative energy you have and like take it.
I don't know about that one.
No,
I personally don't like cats.
fuck cats.
Yeah, well, not like that. You know, it's just cats are not like dogs. You know,
No, dogs are cool.
I don't know how like cats perceive a human, but it's like dogs are very grateful to like your partner. You know, you treat your dog well. It doesn't recognize you as a master. You know, it's like, this is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got his back. This is my homie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, dogs are like, before I used to think back in the day that dogs were like really ignorant. You know, it's just like just something. You know, you have to pet, something like you have to hug. You know, but like, you know, you do some growing up and you see like how pets are to other people. And it's like, okay, you know, I get it. You know, I used to make fun of like people that would like buy like their pets cakes. That would give them like make them parties and stuff. And it's like, bro, you are so weird. But it's like, looking at it, it's like, bro, you know, it's a member of your family. You grow to love your pet. You know, like I would buy a cake for my brother any day of the week. You know, because that's my brother. You know, for my dad, it's like it's people I love, people I want to show my affection to. So why not to a pet?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if your pet is smart enough to know that you care for it and that it knows it's loved, why would you not be able to show like that type of emotion towards it, you know? I mean, besides that and like, oh, there's something about dogs that I've been wanting to try, but I'm too chicken. There's this urban legend in Mexico that if you take ¿cómo se dice la gaña?
La gaña?
Yeah.
Eye booger.
Yeah, you take the eye booger from a dog and you put it into your eyes and you can see what they see.
I think you had told me that once.
Yeah, I mean, it's a folktale in Mexico, you know? I've never known anybody that's tried it, like for real, that I believe.
Cause I think you had told me that once, and you said that you had heard that somebody from your pueblo tried it, and that he went crazy.
Yeah. There's this dude that's crazy from where I'm from, and they claim that's because he did that. But then the older people don't say the same story. You know, they're like, oh, well, they say that, but I mean, we just think he's just lost it. You know, because like a lot of people remember him when he was younger. And they're like, nah, he wasn't always like this. You know, it's something happened. You know, but they don't know what.
Yeah.
You know, apparently he was like abused at home. You know, like most children were back in the day. You know, their parents were very rough on them and stuff. You know, instead of like choosing words, it was always violence. You know, so maybe that happened. We don't know. As far as like the folktale goes at where I'm from, nobody knows if he still has any like living relatives. You know. He lives in like this small shack house, you know, and like, yeah, it's in la casa de carrizos, you know, un techo de lámina. So damn. It's like, you know, he doesn't have much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy, dude. Oh man, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little shaken up with that exorcism story. You know, it's like something. There's something it's just demons. It's a scary topic. You know, like I don't know if I could ever like direct something like that, you know? like, you know, like the people like that made the show Supernatural. I mean, apparently nothing's bad ever happened to like the main characters or like the director, but like I don't think I would have the guts to like make a show about like these demons that exist. You know, like the demon Crowley, he's real.
Yeah.
The demon Alistair, he exists. You know, Lucifer and like all these other demons that are in the show, like they exist. You know, and it's like I don't know if like the demons that exist, for like be like, oh, man, you know, these people up there in the earth are making fun of us. You know, and it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
it's so crazy. I would never, you know, I would never like.
I had been thinking about making a movie, but I always think about it and never do it.
I mean, go for it. You know, we're in a day and age, Alex. That's why we're doing this podcast. We're in a day and age where all it takes is to use like either your phone, your computer, just make some content, just throw it out there.
Like a short movie.
Yeah, you make
Because those short, scary like stories or whatever, they're
They'd be
scary.
so good.
There, Salma showed me some on Netflix, I think. Where it's like these short, scary stories that have like a message in them or something. I think it's called like I don't really remember what the show's called. The stories are kind of dumb, but it's like they look so low budget, you know. Like it's like, oh, it doesn't look like it's incredibly hard to make, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, dude. If you ever need help with the script, I can help you out.
Do it.
All right.
I think that's where Lights Out was inspired from. Cause I had seen one like that, like Lights Out where you.
I mean, there's a lot of movies like that now, like the Bye Bye Man.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of like even Slender Man has a movie, you know. And like Slender Man is just pure fiction.
Yeah.
You know, he's literally just a boogeyman for the woods. You know. Like your werewolf, your average Bigfoot story, you know.
Bigfoot's real.
Yeah, well, we talked about Bigfoot already. We'll come back to those.
I believe werewolves are real.
You believe in werewolves?
Yeah.
I don't.
I believe in all that shit, dude. I don't know why. It's always been so.
I mean, there's
corny.
nothing wrong with believing in things like that, right? It makes life more interesting.
Like, did you ever see like Animal Planet? Animal Planet used to have this show called Lost Tapes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You've never seen it?
Is that with the four or five people?
No, I don't think so. So Animal Planet used to have this show called Lost Tapes, and it's basic. I think it had like 2 or 3 seasons, but it's basically like lost footage of people finding like La Chupacabra, Bigfoot, werewolves, vampires, reptilians, all that shit.
It sounds familiar, but I saw it in Mexico, so I'm pretty sure I don't remember the actual title.
So it's like about all of that shit. And like I remember, like me and my brother used to watch it a lot because like he's into it, but he doesn't want to admit it. But we used to watch it, and it's and like we would get scared of that because I was like, oh shit, what you chupacabra. And then like I started like watching them again because you can find them on YouTube now, and I was like, why the fuck was I afraid of this?
Ah, you were a child, man. You're probably a lot younger, you know.
I was watching them, and I was like the script is bad. Like that lady has a lighter. Why doesn't she just build the fire? And she's over here like.
Yeah, it's like the series The Haunting and Discovery Channel. It's so bad, but back then when I was younger, I mean that shit would scare me.
So good.
Yeah. I mean the target audience is a mature audience, right? But like now that I'm the mature audience, I'm like, okay, you know, this isn't really scary. So, alright. Alright, Alex, it looks like you're gonna finish this up because I'm next. Alright. So I brought you something not paranormal, but just below humans, there's another deadly force that exists out there that's not paranormal. It's natural. Mother Nature herself. You know? Have you guys ever heard of the movie called Open Water?
Yes.
No.
Unfortunately.
I haven't.
Okay. Open Water is pretty much a movie about this couple that goes on this scuba diving trip. You know? And at the beginning, they do a half-ass head count. You know? They count the people before they board, and then they go to the diving site. They dive out, you know, note that this couple are like professional scuba divers. Like they've been doing it for a while. You know, it's not their first dive. So apparently the people that were like the skipper and like his helpers were all just very incompetent people. Mm-hmm. The skipper's a captain. So supposedly it goes like this: they all went down. They had a head count. They had a head count, and there's this guy whose equipment was like messed up, so they didn't let him dive. So they checked them out. Like, okay, we got one head here. So another couple comes out. Oh no, I'm sorry, not a couple. It's this chick and her brother, right? They come out, and he's like, "Hey, can I borrow your equipment? Because I want to go dive." And they're like, "Okay, fine, you can go." But the captain and the helpers are like, "No, we can't let you go by yourself. This is a buddy thing." And he was like begging the brothers, like, "Go back in with me, please." He was like, "Okay, sure." So they go back in, but they don't count them back out. According to the captain, there's 3 people out of the water now. So time passes by, they all come out, but the couple that our story is about, they haven't come out yet. They're still underwater. But they count the heads, they count the paper, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, we're complete. Let's go. Vámonos." And they leave. And they leave this poor couple out there in the water. They come out and they're like, "Yo, where's our ship?" And they decide to hang out, right? They're like, okay, eventually they'll notice we're not there. But they can't notice because according to them, they have a full head count. So they don't notice, but they start drifting. Water. You're not standing still in the water. You're drifting. Before they know it, they're like, "Yo, how far are we? What time is it?" And there's just no, there's no, like, that's the event of the movie. They start going through like the different stages of like panic. Mm-hmm. First they're calm. They're doing the correct thing, keeping calm and trying to keep their energy. Time is passing by. They start to panic a little. They start to feel the effects of dehydration. Mm-hmm. Mother Nature doing her thing, man. The sun is hitting heavy. Like, you might think you're cool because you're in the water, but like, yeah, your lower part of your body's cool, but like the head to the shoulders, you're getting a straight sunlight. So you're gonna get hot. You're gonna start getting burned. Your skin's wet. If you're exposed to the heat, te vas a quemar. Mm-hmm. And then they start getting hungry. They start getting cold, and that's where the movie like starts to get like a little, like you start to feel so helpless, like yourself. You're like, "Oh man, this feels so dumb," because like they can't do anything. Because there's a scary movie where like, "Go, bitch, run," like call somebody, use the gun, use the weapon. Here it's like, bro, what are they gonna do? At the end of the movie, well, they end up dying. Now, the real story is it's pretty much all the same as the movie. It's just like, obviously, we don't know what happened to them. Like, only they know what happened to them. Mm-hmm. But there's a bunch of theories. So the theories as go is so. The first one is that they staged their death. Because it's like, okay, how is this company going to miss 2 people? Mm-hmm. So supposedly they came out, they left all their gear in the water, like their flippers, their vest, oxygen tanks, because all of those were found. Like later throughout time, they started like getting to the surface, like gear with their last name on it. So it's like, okay, we know it's them. But they never found them. They never went back to their room. They never went back to their hostel. They left their wallets, their identities, everything. They just left everything. Supposedly they just wanted a new life and just disappeared. Mm-hmm. And there's no way to trace them because they had life insurance. They never claimed it. Their bank accounts still completely frozen. Not a single penny has been missing since they probably paid for like their scuba diving trip. That's one theory. There's a second one that says that they were eaten up by sharks. This area where they went scuba diving, there's tiger sharks around that area, but tiger sharks are not necessarily very violent type of sharks. There's ways to like evade a shark attack from a tiger shark. So, and also there's been like one shark attack every 3 years or something like that was like their number. That's what the captain and the helper were there for. It's like, oh, if you see a shark, do the following. They were instructed on what to do. So supposedly they out there stranded in the water. Eventually, dehydration, everything. You start to panic. You start to flail around. They apparently ran into like some jellyfish or something. They get stung. They get a cut somehow, and then they just end up being stalked by the sharks. because the tiger shark doesn't attack you right away. You know, it's like it takes its time. It stalks you, and once it sees the fit, it's gonna attack you. You know, but the thing is that none of their gear has like any evidence of shark attack. You know, because they find a vest, they find the tanks, the flippers, and there's no traces of blood. So it's like, okay, we have to rule out shark attack, but that's another possibility. The other one, what you can say something?
Oh well, yeah, because you said there's like no traces of blood, but technically all this stuff is in the water. Wouldn't it basically like wash off?
Maybe not. You never know. I mean, if it's floating around, maybe dry. I mean, blood dries up, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like, I don't know, dude.
Also,
I mean,
like no signs of a bite mark.
Yeah, no bite marks
like
or anything. Okay. Which was like the even crazier part.
Sure.
You know, but the suit has like a tear like around the armpit area, but it's like, okay, that could be natural. You know, it's probably this person trying to take it off. So there's another one that says that they did that on purpose. You know, because after these people went missing, there was a whole man search for them. Couldn't find them. They went through like their personal belongings, including diaries. And apparently this couple had been already like, their relationship wasn't like stable, you know, like the wife was already like, oh, I feel like this guy's like, you know, he's just bothering me all the time. I don't want to be with him. And the guy was like, you know what, I don't want to live anymore. You know, he's like, I feel like I've reached my peak. You know, I'm on top of my game, my job, my wealth. He's like, there's nowhere I can go but down. You know, I don't feel like living anymore. You know, so the company that abandoned these people in the ocean were trying to use their diary entries to avoid like being sued or something, you know. But like, no, bro, these people we didn't kill them, you know. They made this happen. I mean, just read their diaries, you know. They were done living, you know. They weren't happy, you know. The mother of, I'm not sure if it was the wife or the husband, came out and was like, no, bro, this isn't true. Like, they abandoned them in the ocean, and they're just trying to take the blame out of themselves. Eventually, the company, I mean, I think they evaded like a huge lawsuit, but they still had to pay like the jury.
Yeah.
And then the bad rep you get, you know, the place ended up closing down. You know, they just couldn't maintain it. You know, it's just sometimes bad publicity is good publicity, but not this time. You know, it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
So and this particular story is the reason why like most scuba diving businesses will take everything, you know, like pictures, like they'll even give you like a card, you know, and like, okay, make sure this person is back on the boat, you know, like, okay, like we're gonna do a head count before we go into the water, and after you come out of the water, when we get to the shore, and our equipment, because their equipment was never returned either, you know. So it's like, oh, fuck, you know, these people are really gone, and it's like there's so many theories out there. And how much time they lasted alive. They like scuba divers have like, you know how they really can communicate underwater. They have like this board where they can write into, and there's a board entry that says help us at this hour. You know, they had like probably had a scuba watch or something, so they know what time. And they were writing that message down, and like people found the message, but months later after it drifted to the shore, and like it has the actual name and date of like these people that disappeared. So, like, a lot of people just say that they wrote random times and just left everything and, like, they started a new life. There's no, like, real answer to what happened to them other than what's in the movie. Ultimately, their fate was that they died. You know, they ended up dying. And, like, you're probably thinking, like, what's so scary about that? You know, it's like, I mean, just looking at the ocean or, like, the beach at night, it's pretty scary out there, man. Can you imagine being in the middle of the ocean, knowing not what's going to happen to you, not knowing what's swimming under you?
Exactly.
Like, all you can see is from, like, you can't even see pretty much because the water's, like, crashing into your eyes. You know, they're, like, all you hear is, like, the sound of the waves. A splash that could be so far away from you sounds like it's right next to you. You know, what are you thinking? Like, you have to be so self-centered to not cause yourself to panic just in the water. You know, because you look down and it's dark. You know, what are you thinking? Oh, there's gonna be a shark under me,
or something else that we don't know.
Yeah, or something else. You know, you just start imagining a bunch of bullshit. You know, the mind is a really, really powerful part of your body, but at the same, it's so powerful, it's scary. Like the things you can do when you're afraid, when you're feeling an adrenaline rush. You know, it's like the things you sometimes start running. Like, have you ever been chased by a dog?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you run and you're like, bro, I've never run this fast before. Of course not. Your fight or flight response triggered, and you chose to flight, and you ran really fast. One time I was chased by a dog once, and I did a jump that I didn't know I could do. I jumped really high. I jumped really high to try to get up a fence, and I got up there, and I was like, bro, how did I make this jump?
Yeah.
You know, and like, honestly, to me, there's nowhere. I mean, if I could be lost somewhere, it would be literally anywhere except the ocean.
Yeah.
Anywhere except the ocean.
I have the thalassophobia thing, so anything with water,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I have that because I like swimming. It's just, I mean, I see these videos and it's like, oh fuck, bro, no way. Yeah. Look, every time I'm near a big body of water that like that, I'm just gonna like that song is gonna automatically play in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy shit, man. But yeah, I mean I have like another movie, but like it's getting kind of late, so I think I'm just gonna save that one for a different day.
True.
Yeah, because we swayed off the topic a little bit, but I mean I enjoyed the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. I think we have to do a part 2.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You still had another one, right?
Yeah, I have one more. We've all seen it, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Okay.
which isn't really in Texas. But
yeah,
anyways.
I remember last time you told us, like, oh, we should do this. Like, bro, this didn't happen in Texas, but okay.
But yeah, so in the movie, and correct me if I'm wrong, damn, they have a lot of remakes, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot.
So in the movie, it's a family. You know, it's the same. It's kind of the same as like The Hills Have Eyes, and a similar plot. Crazy sex-driven teenage kids try to find a shortcut. They run into this inbred family that has like what is it? Like a part of their like the person, a part of their family is like mental. He was mental. So basically, like this guy family tries to kill these kids, and like, you know, whenever they're not able to kill them for some reason, they send off their special son, or that's a part of their family, which comes out, you know, Leatherface with the chainsaw goes and kills these kids. And that's the entire plot of the movie. Just Leatherface going out to kill these kids. So, what it's based off of is in the, I think it was in the 50s that this happened. In the 50s, it's based off a real life serial killer named Ed Gein, who that was from Wisconsin, La Crosse, Wisconsin, and was obsessed with his mother in the same way that was in the movie. Like, have you seen Psycho?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Psycho is based off of the same thing. It's just like a different thing. But basically, Ed Gein was obsessed with his mother, and he didn't talk to anyone besides her. And when she passed away, I think due to health concerns, he just lost it. He lost it, and he ended up killing a bunch of people and became Ay, la verga. And he became known as the Butcher of Plainfield. And was suspected. He was suspected and convicted because he ended up getting caught of killing a lot of people. But like one of the most disturbing things was that he started grave robbing.
You heard the knock, right? I'm not tripping.
I was talking. I probably didn't hear the knock.
Did you hear?
No. I didn't.
I could have sworn somebody was knocking my door. Okay, whatever. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. I just needed to make sure I wasn't tripping, but I guess I'm tripping.
Maybe. So he basically started grave robbing recently buried women, and started like using their body parts to create like a suit, like a woman's suit, in the same way that happened in the movie. And he would wear the suit, and he would pretend to be his mother. And in the movie, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they have like all these different types of things. Like like made out of like human skin.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think one of the things that I don't think he was famous for, but it's what I've seen that like is always like being like noticed and like talked about is that Ed Gein had a belt like full of like women's nipples.
What?
And that's what inspired the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, yeah, I've heard this one before. I think this movie. I think it was more towards the Psycho movie.
Was it?
Yeah, I feel like it was more. It inspired the Psycho movie a lot more. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was really cool too. So
I think it's the same. They just like
Yeah, they
exaggerated it a little
yeah.
bit.
It's crazy how like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't even in Texas. They were just like, yeah, Texas is creepy. Let's do it here.
Texas got some weird ass folk.
All right. So now we're gonna try to put the podcast to a small end. I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, that's a good
I
one.
really enjoyed this one. Like I think honestly, my favorite one is still the first one. You know, the one where we just improvised it all and like, you know, let it flow. Like I think that's the part I enjoyed the most of this one. You know, where we just like talked about our personal things. But I always like there to be a topic so we can have a title. You know, and it's like, all right, bro, like we're talking about our stuff and like, okay, look, we're gonna bring you. I feel like that should be like, I feel like we should like attempt that type of format. You know, like have like a topic, and then like talk about it, and then like talk about something else. You know, like just to not be so fixed on the topic.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm really gonna like this podcast.
Like kind of just letting it flow.
Just let it flow. All right. Well, I gotta wrap. We're gonna start wrapping it up a little. It's getting a little late. It's midweek.
Es el ombligo de la semana.
Yeah, it's ombliguito de semana. Hopefully, we can get this episode out tomorrow. Friday, the latest.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
acuérdense que mañana es jueves, bebés.
Well, mañana, no, güey, mañana no va a ser jueves porque lo vas a subir mañana, ¿no?
Sí, por eso.
Va a ser jueves.
Va a ser jueves.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Viernes de desmadre, sábado de locura y domingo de la cruda. All right. This has been La Hora Spooky. I'm Alex.
Yo soy el Huicho.
And I'm Carla.
Y esto fue La Hora Spooky. Ooh.